Lumipas at magbago ang panahon. Iisa at nakatatak ang kauna-unahang himpilan sa paghahatid ng serbisyo publiko at balita. Ito ang Radio Mindanao Networks. Higit 6 na dekada sa paglilingkod sa masang Pilipino. Sa Metro Manila, ito ang DZXL 558 Radyo Trabaho, ang inyong gabay sa hanap buhay.
Okay, ano bang date ngayon? December 20.
20
Aba,
ba?
December 20, 2020. Ha? Okay?
12, 20, 20, 20.
12, 20, 2020. Okay.
2.
Yeah. Well, ano po mga inantabayanan natin ngayon? Siyempre, pagdating ng Pasko, di ko po alam sa inyo, pero malungkot yata o tahimik ang Pasko ngayon. No? Hindi natin alam kung dahil sa COVID, meron pa mga bagong anunsyo, huhuliin daw yung mga nagdiriwang ng Pasko at di ko na alam kung anong mga ibang mga nangyayari na medyo nakakataas lang ng presyon. And I'm sure many of you are not happy with what's happening. And I doubt very much na you are agreeable to what is going on in terms of the new regulations na baka daw magkaroon ng bagong lockdown at ang magulo na naman, yung mga iba pwede daw mag-face mask tapos yung isa naman, sabi ni Berheire, Undersecretary Berheire, narinig ko, pwede daw na hindi na mag-face mask pero ilagay daw ang face shield. Yung mga ganyan. Alam niyo po, ang napakagulo. No? And siyempre, kung naguguluhan tayo, naguguluhan din yung mga nag-i-implement, yung mga police. No? And then the police, they're given mixed instructions.
Right.
Di ba?
Yeah.
So the people are confused. Whether they do this or not, and then they get arrested or they get reprimanded. Tapos mayroon pang nagre-recommend na magbigyan daw ng batuta yung mga pulis para hampasin yung mga tao pag lumalabag sa mga regulasyon.
Sino nag-recommend?
Meron nag-recommend rubber daw, embes na daw yung kahoy, no? Ay, oo, sabi. I go, it's all.
Ay, nako.
But you can see, things are really very confusing and very bad. Pero hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas, and every Sunday for the past how many months now? 3 months na. Kami ni Itos have been sharing with you what our television channels are not sharing with you. No? Pati na rin ng mga commentaries, yung mga na-research namin, na pagsusulit, check namin siyempre kung yung may veracity, yung mga sinasabi, no? May katotohanan ba o wala? Lokohan ba to? Fake news ba to o wala? No? And we go through the extent of looking into this for the whole week because every week po may mga nangyayari. Di ba, Itas?
Right, and lalo na with this COVID, lumabas na naman yung mga news na nag-surge daw yung mga cases or di ko na alam kung anong tawag nila, second wave, third wave, fourth wave. Basta wave down ng COVID, so kailangan daw i-shutdown na naman yung iyan natin. We have to limit our movements and freedoms. Again, ito yung sa local. But I think pati na yung police and authorities, napapagod na rin sila eh. This has been what? 8 months? 9 months of no direction. The only direction is magpapabaksin.
Yeah, and dito po, itong vaccine na ito, syempre, very controversial po. Hindi mo alam kung ano yung totoong vaccine na hindi.
Yeah.
Ngayon, kung ano-ano nababalitaan natin, may mga, dito sa mga testing ng mga vaccine, meron ng adverse effects, meron na daw nurse na namatay, meron ng tinamaan na hospital, o kung ano-ano pong nangyayari, no?
Madaming chismis ang lumalabas, maraming mga news ang lumalabas about these things.
Right.
The point being, again, babalik tayo sa sinabi ni Chairman, look, dito lang po natin sa sinasabi to, you will not get this from any other. Based on the US CDC figures, ulit-ulitin,
CDC is
Center for Disease Control, parang
Oh.
siyang DOH, parang ganon ng US. These are the numbers, okay? Pag na-infect kayo ng COVID o naging positive kayo, you have a 99.5% across the board
recovery.
chances of surviving it.
Uh,
Okay? And obviously recovering it. 99+% po. From birth to 74 years old, 75 years old. Assuming wala kayong underlying conditions. Pero on the general, yan po. Hindi po nila binabalita to sa kahit anong media. 2 months ago pa, 3 months ago pa yata nilabas na nila to. Okay.
Yung COVID po yan, 99% chance of getting well and recovering.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Alam niyo, tanong ko lang, Itas, bago may tuloy. Ano kaya ang recovery rate ng flu?
Yon.
Pag nagkatrangkaso ka,
Yon.
do you have 99% chance of recovery? Alam niyo po ba kung ano yung 99% chance of recovery? No? Sa flu po, meron pong mga namamatay.
Correct.
Meron pong namamatay. Sa pneumonia, lalo na.
Yes.
No? Lalo na ang mga namamatay sa pneumonia. Siguro, chance of recovery dyan, siguro 60-70%.
Hindi, pero ito yung nakakatuwa nga. Buti nga you mentioned flu. Pero the same figures also show that flu incidences in the US dropped by 98%.
Drop by 98%.
So, tignan po natin ito yung mga numerong hindi invento namin po i-research nyo po. Nandyan sa US Center for Disease Control website. Kailangan po hanap-hanapin nyo kasi tinatago nila sa ilalim ng mga iba pang studies pero nandyan siya. Okay? And binalita po namin to. So we showed it. This graphic is from Fox News from before. We showed this already. Napalabas na yan. This is August or September pa.
By the way, the COVID that they're talking about here is the same COVID they're talking about in the US.
Correct.
Kanya yung COVID niyan, maski saan sa buong mundo, yan ang statistika.
Okay,
no?
kasi wala po tayong nilalabas sa DOH. Hindi po sila maglalabas ng ganyan statistika. And they will not intentionally po inform you that this is the US CDC numbers.
Yeah.
Hindi nila ilalabas yan. Bakit kaya? Alam na, di ba? Pero yun na nga yung nakapagtataka. Bakit yung flu biglang nawala?
Ano ba yung ibig sabihin na wala? If in the whole 1 year, there were let's say 1 million cases of flu.
Kunyari, the year
1
before.
million, okay? This year, there are only 2%. Ano yung 2%? Ano ba yung 2%?
10%, 100,000. So 2% divided by 5, 20,000.
20,000 cases. Kung the previous year, 1 million cases.
Right.
Ngayon, bigla-bigla, 20,000 lang. No? Maniniwala ba kayo sa ganyan? Pero yun ang actual na figures No?
Bakit yung DOH, maglabas sila ng numero on flu cases? Hindi naman nila lalabas
Hindi nila ilalabas yan. Kung
diba?
ano man ngayon, huli na, baka medyo doktorado na yan.
Alam na nila. The other thing, magtanong po tayo. Yung heart disease, the number 1 killer sa Philippines. Heart disease, ano yung numero natin? Ano kaya ang this year? Ano yung mga numero?
Ilan bang libong namamatay sa heart? Let us say 100,000 a year. Siguro
sabihin mo.
yung mga inaatake sa puso, di ba? Palagay ko ngayon mas konti. Pero ang malaki maka-COVID. Alam mo bakit? Ito ang gusto yata sabihin ni Ito. Kasi pag sinabing COVID, no, hindi na sasabihin yung underlying situation nung
hospital.
Yung pasyente, na nung pumasok yung pasyente sa ospital,
hindi naman.
Ano lang siya, let's say, nagkaroon siya ng heart attack o nagkaroon ng palpitation, ganyan. No? Tapos pagpasok niya, sabihin natin, grumabi yung sitwasyon at namatay. No? Pero ang labas niya, COVID. COVID ang ilalagay, hindi po yung heart disease. Kaya yung statistika sa heart disease, bumabagsak, pero yung sa COVID, tumataas. No? Ang isa pang ang sinasabi natin, doon sa lahat ng COVID cases, ilan ba for example sa atin na 700,000 na ba?
700, yeah. About 700.
Ang nagkaroon ng COVID daw, 700,000. Ang sinasabi sa atin, 60% or 70% ang dun sa 700,000.
No, as of December 20, 459,000.
O yan, 459 as of December. Cases of COVID.
Yes,
okay.
Positive. Positive.
Ang deaths,
8,000.
8,000 ang deaths. Ilang percent yon? Kasi 10% is 45,000.
Recoveries, 429,000.
Ang recovery, 400. Ang mga 98%, 98% ang recovery. Tama yung statistika. No? Ito, ang nakakatuwa kasi, yung mga pananakot, di na 2% ang mamamatay. Tapos sasabihin nila, meron tayong vaccine. Pinakamahusay ito, 95% effective. 95% effective, no? Pero yung recovery rate, 98%. Bakit ka pa magpapabakuna? No?
May sukli ka pa, lugi ka pa.
Tapos delikado pa yung bakuna, baka pag tininikan ka, meron pang adverse effect. No?
Yeah.
Dito wala kang bakuna, meron kang 98% recovery rate.
Yes.
No? What's going on?
There's something going on.
There's something going on. Merong hindi tama, hindi tugma sa logic, di po ba?
Yeah,
no?
That's what, and it's not just here po, it's all over the world. Kaya galit na yung mga tao. Because ano ba talaga, kuya? Diba? Yun yung sinasabi nila sa gobyerno eh. Remember, si Trump po, I think he's the only leader in the world na hindi, wala yan. Okay lang tayo, makaka-recover tayo. Ito yung siyensya, ito yung ganyan. Ito pwede ng HCQ, ito pwede ng HCQ as zinc, with zinc, and yun yung treatment. Huwag kayo matakot, buksan natin ekonomiya, let's live our normal lives. Pero the rest of the world, tayo, yung Build Back Better group, nakasama tayo po doon ni Duterte, ayaw. Kailangan may bakuna.
What is happening? And then, parang may mga nagkakarera makakuha ng mga vaccines.
Yes.
Nandiyan na sila Locsin, nandiyan na yung Ambassador Romualdez sa Amerika, andito na yung Department of Education, Department of Health na si Duque, no? Pati na yata yung Red Cross kasama na dito. Ano ba, para kayong kumakarera kung sinong maitulak, no?
Maunahan.
Bakit? Ang kumakarera dito yung Pfizer. Okay? Kung ano man yung bakuna ng Pfizer. Yung isa yung Seneca. At yung isa yung sa Moderna. Okay? Ang sinasabi nila, lumabas ang Moderna, sabi niya 92% effective. Lumabas yung Pfizer, sabi niya, 95% effective. Yung Seneca, si Seneca, medyo nauhuli. Nauhuli, mga
Kailangan.
80% effective siya. Oh, hindi na pwede muna yan. Testing muna, testing. What is scary is they're going to be using us as guinea pigs.
Kasi nagmamadali.
Kasi nagmamadali tayo, no? Tapos, ang nagmamadali sa atin, hindi naman tayo Itos. Hindi naman ang mga mamayan. Ang nagmamadali, yung mga tao sa gobyerno, at nakakaduda.
Yeah.
Kasi, alam natin, malaking pera ito. Malaking pera ito. Billion ito.
Then Baksha ba sinasabi mo? Or
Hindi.
no. Okay.
Pero, ganyan na rin nangyari sa Dembaksya. And
Last minute.
But yung Dembaksya is only for 1 million children.
Right.
But this one, they're targeting minimum 70 million Filipinos.
Right.
No?
Right.
If possible, 100 million Filipinos. Kanya yung mga komisyon na kinita nila nung sa Dembaksya, 1 million, let's say
3.5
billion. No? You're talking of 3 trillion. No?
Yeah.
Ha? 3 trillion pesos dito sa
10%.
Imagine, no? Malaking pera po ito, no? At marami pong nakaabang dito na tao sa gobyerno. At sana po mabantayan ni President Duterte ito. Kasi itong si Duque, nararamdaman namin napakalaki ng mga sponsor nito, si Duque. At sobrang laki, kayang yung mga sponsor niyan, yung mga pharma companies na may hawak kay Duque, kaya po nilang bilhin ng Pilipinas 10 beses.
Yep. I don't think also, Chairman, it's just Duque.
Yes.
There might be other sponsors in our legislators,
Yes.
our
Meron mga-
judiciary,
Oh,
our
kung paano.
executive.
Because everybody wants to get a piece of the action.
yeah,
no?
or they did already.
Yeah. But ang talagang dyan, si Duque. Kanya siguro, ang iniisip ko, kanya siguro ang presidente, ilag na tanggalin si Duque. Dahil ang mga pharma companies, like I said, para pong parang mga oligarko nga talaga, international oligarchs. Kasi laki na mga bangko yan no? O mas malaki pa nga no?
Yun na nga. You can't avoid.
And they are so powerful economically, no?
They control our life and death.
Yes.
So, kung walang medicine, di ba? So, kung walang gamot, kung walang they control, actually, pwede nilang pataasin yung mortality, pababain.
Saka yung gamot, kontrolado din nila, no? Pwedeng ibaba yung ng visa ng gamot para tuloy-tuloy kang... Ganyan ang mga pharmaceutical.
Right.
Kanya masasamang reputasyon ng mga yan, pero napakalaki po nila. No?
They hold a lot of
Ngayon,
and not just here, but the world. Diba?
palagay ko, itong si Duque, ganyan ang pananakot niya kay,
Yeah.
kay Presidente. Kanya hindi siya maalis-alis. No?
Maybe. Yeah.
That's why I want to give a little credit to the President, no? That he does not know too much or he is scared, no? Being frightened by what Duque is saying about these pharmaceutical companies and the vaccines, no?
The thing is, we don't seem to have an independent Department of Health. Meaning, that's not government. Everything is controlled by the Department of Health. Kung gustong palitan po ni Presidente, si Duque, di ba? Yung galamay ng pharma buo yan. So, how do you, di ba?
Department of Health is probably right now one of the most corrupt agencies
With
of government.
PhilHealth, all of those things.
Yeah. PhilHealth kasama na, at noon pa yan. Kasi medicines ang hawak tapos kontrolado ng pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
Yung mga Department of Education, although there is corruption, you're really talking about the corruption in the in the desks and the books and so on. Pero dito, this is corruption that is handled by pharma companies. So you've got the Department of Health, no? But the Department of Health has to have the budget to buy the medicine.
Right.
Though the budget is controlled by the legislature and the executive. No?
Okay.
So, yung pharma companies, bibili niya itong mga kongresista at saka senador. No?
Right.
Pati na rin yung nasa Malacanang na iba, mga kapatid.
Alam naman natin kung sino yung kakampi sa pharma eh.
Yun ang...
Sa legislator natin, obvious naman.
Ganyan po nangyayari. No?
Yeah.
Tingnan niyo po, the only agency na parang kasi tanong ko po dito sa vaccine. Kung merong adverse effect, sino ang mananagot?
Right.
Correct?
Sino may liability?
Kung let us say may nangyari sa'yo, nagpapakuna ka, sino ngayon nang ihahabla ko?
Right.
No?
Right.
Dahil yung anak ko, no, may nangyari sa kanya. No? Ang alam niyo po ba, wala kayong mahahabol? You cannot run after the doctor or the nurse that put it there. You cannot run after the pharma company dahil meron agreement tayo. And you cannot run after the government.
Yeah.
No? Walang liability clause na ang ating Kung sana, isa sa mga importante yan.
Yes.
Gumawa ng kasulatan. Kung may mangyari sa'yo, no? Siguradong sasagutin ng gobyerno at kung may kasalanan yung pharma company, ihahabla nila sa International Court of Criminal Court kung saan nila inahabulit nung si President Duterte.
Right.
Something like that. That the people have responsibility. Hindi pwede yung bulahan lang tayo. Paano naman yun, Mr. President, if you're listening, look, if something happens, you want to be able to vaccinate 3 million pesos next year, 3 million people next year. If anything happens, even to 10,000 or 100,000 of them, various adverse effects. Let's say nabulag, nagkaroon ng heart condition, nagkaroon ng muscular dystrophy,
Right.
o na stroke o kung naman,
Right.
that can be pinpointed to that vaccine. What are you going to do, Mr. President? How are you going to answer to the people? Where will they seek redress? Where can they go? Dati, alam niyo po, meron tayong Public Attorney's Office. Pinamumunuan hanggang ngayon ni Persida Acosta. At meron siyang forensic and pathology group that can study and even kung namatay, they'll do an autopsy so that we can pinpoint the culprit, no, as to why that person died. No? Alam niyo po ba, itong si Senator Angara at si Drilon, tinanggal po yung budget para doon. Ibig sabihin, ng taong bayan, no, wala nang mapupuntahan. Wala man sila mapupuntahan para magpaliwanag sa kanila kung paano namatay yung kanilang mga kamag-anak. Sinadya ito sa palagay ko, sinadya para hindi na magkakaroon ng abilidad o magkaroon ng capability ang mahihirap para pagtanong sa gobyerno, ano bang nangyari? Hindi ba pag nagka-COVID lahat yan, ang ginagawa ni Duque, pinapakremate niya agad?
Diba siya?
Sa Demba. Hindi yung Demba siya, kanya
COVID.
Yung COVID. Yeah. Pinapakremate niya agad para anong mangyari. Walang ebidensya. Walang ebidensya kasi heart attack yon, flu lang yon, o
Kahit ano.
kahit ano, tuberculosis. Pero ilagay niya lahat COVID, cremated yan. Ngayon, anong habol mo? Wala. This is the
Pero hindi ba pwedeng,
onerous part.
hindi ba pwedeng i-veto ni President Duterte?
Pwede. Kaya nga itong si Angara at saka Sena, pwede niyang i-veto yan.
Or not agree and say, balik yung budget, di ba?
Yes. And nasa kanya yan. No? And the President can do it. And we hope the President does it.
Right.
Kasi marami siyang pinag-iisipan ng problema, baka hindi niya maasikaso. No? Pero this is very, very important. That's why we are bringing it up to you. No? We cannot stop discussing the dangers of this vaccine.
Yeah.
And we are questioning whether it is really, really necessary. Will it be really preventive of COVID? No? Definitely, it's not a curative measure. Ang vaccine po is preventive measure. Pag may vaccine, pag may COVID ka na, ibang gamot ang in-take mo. Huwag ka magpapaturo, no? Ibang gamot ang ibibigay sa iyo pag pag meron ka ng COVID. Pero yung COVID vaccine, pag in-inject ka, ang ibig sabihin hindi ka na mag-COVID, no? Yun ang sinasabi, no? Now, how will we know?
Yes.
Are we going to submit ourselves as the guinea pigs?
Guinea pigs po, parang tayo po yung eksperimento.
Oo.
Tignan natin.
Yun ba ang plano? At ang plano nyo ba, sabi nyo, tuturukan nyo yung mga mahihirap? Bakit po? Dahil yung mga mahihirap, wala pong kakayanan umangal. Yun po ba? No? Ang sabi nyo din, ang tuturukan daw yung mga militar. Bakit po? Kasi ang militar, basta mag-o-obey na lang. Susunod na lang sa order at wala nang angal. Isipin po natin, mga tao sila kaysa militar o may hirap. At meron din silang karapatan. Karapatan nila, palagay ko, mag-decide to have themselves inoculated or not. But we are saying we don't want to be guinea pigs. We have to be sure. Kung hindi tayo sigurado, huwag tayong magpabakuna. Ngayon, kung ang ating pamahalaan sigurado na dyan at magagaranti nila na epektibo, no? At walang danger, kung kayang i-guarantee ng gobyerno yan, sila na unang magpabakuna. Pabakunahin lahat ng mga senador at kongresista. Pabakunahin natin lahat ng nasa Malacanang at lahat ng kabinete. Sila muna. Kung pwede, pati kanilang mga pamilya. At pakita niyo po sa tao na lahat kayo nagpapabakuna. At makikita po ng tao na walang adverse effect sa inyo. Hindi kayo namatay, hindi kayo nabulag, at kung ano man pwedeng mangyari. Tsaka siguro itong mga taong mamamayan natin, lalakas ang loob, magpabakuna. Pero habang wala yun, hindi po lalakas ang loob dahil natatakot sila. Sa lahat ng lumalabas permanente yung sakit nyo natatama sa inyo. Hindi na maalis, hindi na malulutas. That is what they're saying. And there are many that are saying this. Ngayon, ba't tayo naman, kanya po sinasabi natin, yun lang, sila na munang mauna. Total, sila na ang nagagaranti. Yung mga senador at congressman, di ba, sila na ang nabigyan ng mga pharma company. Yung mga nasa kabinete, kayo na may mga kaibigan dyan sa mga pharma company. Ikaw, Duque, kung pwede, maski 10 beses ka magpaturo ka sa Moderna, sa Pfizer at sa Seneca, no? Pati na yung mga pamilya mo. Pakita mo sa taong bayan. Pati na yung mga pamilya mo, paturok sila at nakikita ng tao. No? That way, baka meron pong makonvince na mamamaya. No? Pero kung basta itutulak nyo lang sa mga tao yan, huwag sana po. Huwag tayong masyadong magmamadali. No? Ang statistics natin is correct. Internationally, 2% or less is our mortality
That's
rate.
assuming DOH is telling the truth.
Assuming that right.
Baka naman,
Baka ini-inflate pa nila.
ini-inflate pa nila. Ibig sabihin, mas mababa. Kasi,
Kasama sa pananakot, di ba?
kasi wala tayong other data. So, the other thing is, tama sinabi ni Chairman, I would dagdag ko lang, actually, the only way to guarantee is to assure liability clause.
Yeah.
For one.
Liability, sinong sasagot?
Sasagot ba ng gobyerno yan? Kapag may namatay. So,
Sinong makukulong? Sinong magbabayad?
aside from voluntary taking the vaccine, right? Bahala kayo. Pero, assuming ganyan. Secondly, pag sinabi niyong may vaccine na and it's widely available, edi buksan na natin yung economy para na tayong mag-lockdown. Diba? Buksan na natin. Kung may vaccine, ba't pa tayo magmamask? Kung may vaccine, ba't pa tayo magfe-face mask? Diba? Yun eh. So assuming na ganun, you express confidence that we have the cure, sige, game na. Lahat buksan na. Wala na mga QR code, wala na mga data privacy concerns. Buksan nyo na. But otherwise, huwag kayo magsasalita-salita about pushing a vaccine. The other thing is that there is treatment. There is early treatment. Ngayon, another statistics na tahimik lang sila pero sinama nila yung
Sa CDC.
Hindi, sa American Medical Association.
Okay.
May nilabas silang report rescinding their earlier advisory against hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin.
Natatandaan niyo po yung hydroxychloroquine with azithromycin?
Yes.
Dati, ang sabi ng World Health, tsaka ng, lahat sila, CDC, huwag daw kukunin yan. Wala pa daw yan. Ang nagsasabi lang, yun ang gamot na pwede. Si President Trump
Nauna si President Trump.
Nauna siya.
Na magsabi na, I don't know, HCQ, parang okay ito. Pagkatapos po nun, lahat ng DOH, ng WHO,
pati dito sa atin.
Dito, wag delikado yung HCQ. So lahat ng recommend nila, wag magbigay ng pharmacy, wag bigay ng
yung mga doktor, pinagbabawalan. Reseta ng hydrochloroquine.
Mga dito, mga taga-UP na doktor daw, mga dalubhasa daw sila. Masama daw yung HCQ. Huwag niyong kunin yan. Ngayon, naglabas yung, tapos pinagbawal pa sa Facebook, tsaka sa Twitter, magbanggit ng HCQ. Ganun kagrabe sila. Kasi sabi nila, masama daw yun, may false news daw yun. Ngayon, naglabas na yung CDC ng guidance, naglabas na yung American Medical Association ng report. October 30 ang date ng report, right before the US elections. Alam mo anong sabi?
Pero ngayon lang nalaman. Lumabas. Pero October 30 nila yan.
Quiet lang. Nagbigay sila para tahimik lang.
Anong sabi na nila?
Sabi ng report, we are rescinding our earlier advisory against HCQ and azithromycin as a viable
Cure.
early stage treatment for COVID.
COVID.
So pwede na. Di ba yan yung siyensya? Alam mo, yung mga matatalino dito sa atin, marami akong kaibigan sa Facebook, napaka-henyo nila eh. Pero nakikinig sila Pero pag sinabi mo, na ito, sabi ng CBC, ito, sabi ng American Medical Association, biglang tahimik na sila. Ayaw na nila makipag-usap about it. Basta naniniwala sila sa DOH.
The assumption kasi dito, dahil mayroong mga institutions na ganyan, ang tao is program trust that institution. Like even our Department of Health and lahat-lahat sa Amerika, ganyan din.
Right.
Now, and what they cannot imagine is that the people that may be running those institutions have become extremely corrupt.
Right.
Extremely corrupt and demonic in their attitude and in their philosophy. Hindi natin ma-realize na ganyan na. Akala natin matalino at these people are honorable people.
Respectable, honorable.
Sometimes these people are demons that have been put in those powerful positions. Lahat po ng ahensya, pati na rin ng simbahang Katoliko, meron po dyan. Kung ikaw si Satanas, ang unang-una mong aatakihin at papasukan, ang simbahang Katoliko. Yan sigurado. Yan ang unang papasukan mo at gagawa ka ng virus dyan sa loob para masira. No? And the same thing with governments. Ganyan po. Ang kawawa, ang biktima, ang tao. Ang pinaka defense natin, no, is our minds. We have the capacity to be discerning. We can analyze. We have the capacity to figure out what is true and what is not. You have to take extra effort. Just because CNN says it does not mean it is true. That because ABS-CBN says it does not mean it is true. No? And as a matter of fact, if they're the ones that say it, most probably it's a lie.
Yes. It's propaganda.
It's propaganda. Kasi mga mainstream media po yan.
Yes.
Kaya kailangan magmasid because that is our only defense. And you have to dig up. Huwag kayong tamarin. Huwag kayong tamarin maghukay, mag-research. Lalo na ngayon, napakadali po sa inyong Facebook, sa inyong cellphone lang. Ang dami nyo nang makukuhang informasyon. Huwag kayong tamarin dyan. Itapon nyo na yung mga kung ano-anong mga nakikita natin sa nagpinapagukulan ng panahon, itong mga chismis ng mga artista o kung ano. Walang kabuluhan sa buhay natin yan. Ang may kabuluhan po itong mga ganitong klaseng issues. Go into it because it means your life and the life of your children and the rest of your family.
I wanted to add, just to put bookend to that, no? We showed the video, we showed the graphic, we show the statistics. This is the statistics of the whole year. Marami pa pong iba. In fact, there was a Dutch study. Again, sige, that's the 99%, 99+% of survival rate of if you're infected. Hindi pa yung mga asymptomatic yan na wala namang sakit. Okay? You will survive. That is the CDC, source of CDC. Sige, Berto. Okay. So, the other thing is that hydroxychloroquine with azithromycin treatment is early stage and viable against COVID. And probably against other sicknesses also, like pneumonia.
Yeah.
So, kailangan matanim natin sa utak natin yon. Okay? Yun ang base sa statistiko na hindi po amin. This is This is from these same people that first said pandemic ito.
Hindi kami ahente ng mga drugs, ha? Hindi kami nagbebenta ng hydroxychloroquine o HCQ.
Hindi kami Duke o Loxid.
Wala kami magkikitaan dyan.
Diba?
Ay, ito lang ang nababasa namin at sinashare namin sa inyo.
Yeah.
It's up to you whether you believe it or not, but we share it, no?
Yeah.
And because we consider it to be true.
Right. And then the other one is may mga studies in Netherlands, I think, a Danish study. Sila lang yung nagkaroon ng, up to now, worldwide study on the effectivity of masks.
Yun sa mask nga.
Sabi nila, wala daw epekto yung masks whether you will get COVID or not. Paano po nila ginawa? And we have a study, we can link it sa our Facebook page, no? But we have that study, I think I posted it a long time ago. Yung Danish study, I think that was 2 months ago po. Sabi nila, pumunta sila ng tinatawag na control group, yung sumusuot ng mask, yung isang grupo hindi sumusuot ng mask. So, lumabas lang sila. So, after a while, balik sila, nag-test, equal number po positive. Yung may mask at yung walang mask.
Nagkaroon ng COVID pareho.
Positive. Nag-PCR test. So, both groups, nagkaroon po.
Whether may mask o wala, kung magkakaroon ka.
Right.
No?
And again, huwag tayong matakot na kunyari mag-PCR, which is another issue. Yung PCR test po is designed to really find positive. Kaya nga maraming false positive.
Ang dami ng false positive.
So, lahat po ng siyensya, lahat ng sinasabi nila, lahat ng tinutulak nila sa atin, magulo, maraming peke, maraming kagaguhan, maraming kabalastugan or whatever. Ano ba yung word na yun? So, kabalastugan, di ba? Kasi, ang epekto niyan, sarado ekonomiya natin, hindi makapaghanap buhay yung tao. Sarado yung hindi makagalaw yung mga tao. Gutom yung mga tao, may direct effect yan, mamamatay sila. Not of COVID,
First,
but because of the shutdown.
the effect of poverty.
Yes.
Marami po sa atin, isang kain, isang tuka. No?
Correct.
They depend on their daily wage.
Yeah.
No? At pag biglang wala po yan, they are plunged into a much deeper level of poverty. And eventually, pag hindi ka kumakain, siyempre, ang kalusugan mo ay may epekto. No? At magkakasakit ka, no? At matutuluyan kang mamatay. No? Ngayon, wala naman death certificate na nakalagay died of poverty.
Right.
No? Meron dyan died of pneumonia, died of COVID. Lahat
COVID.
ilalagay nila yan. Yung COVID ilalagay nila kung para makakolekta ng PhilHealth.
Right.
Kung wala na silang chance makakolekta sa PhilHealth, kung ano yung talagang kinamatayan, yun specific sickness. But ang bottom line nun, poverty. No?
Yeah.
Poverty ang talagang cause.
And poverty is an effect of policy.
Of course. No?
So,
Kanya, pag sinabing lockdown, ganyan, meron dapat correlation yan sa number of mortality. Ano ba ang lockdown? No? Sabihin natin, lockdown policy, tapos bilangin mo kung ilan yung namatay.
correct.
May kita mo, mas malaki yan. Dito sa, hindi sa nagkasakit sa COVID, kung ilan yung namatay.
Ang nakakapag dyan, mga kaibigan, is, for example, ito lang sa HCQ. Ilan kaya ang taong buhay pa ngayon kung promote nila itong si hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin treatment early?
Yeah.
Ilan ang nabubuhay pa ngayon na hindi pa namamatay kasi COVID siya or pneumonia or flu as a treatment? Pero binan yan eh. Ibig sabihin, hindi nila binigay sa tao eh.
Because it was banned, people died.
People die.
But of course, Duque doesn't give a shit about people dying.
Or
Kasi,
WHO also.
Kasi yung mga depopulationists.
Right.
sa kanila mabawasan ng populasyon, yun ang mas mabuti.
Yes. And that's the nakakapanghinaya, no, nakakainis at ng dugo kapag ganun ng dugo. Because knowingly, kung alam nila na ito epektibo, tapos hindi nila binigay sa tao, di ba parang murder yun?
Of course. Mass murder.
Mass murder.
Hindi lang genocide yan tawag yan, o mass murder.
Paano yung mga nag-promote ng news na masama yung HCQ?
Ayan, yan ang criminal negligence. Na criminal negligence yan dahil their intention was not to kill people.
Yes.
But they're criminally negligent because they did not study and understand. Basta ginawa na nila.
And the effect was people died.
People died. No?
Or their hatred for Donald Trump.
Yan, isa pa yan. No? Yung mga kay Donald Trump. Anyway, we might transition already now to this issue of Donald Trump. No? At we keep on talking about this because we believe and we let you know that whatever happens in the United States has a direct impact on the rest of the world. And the Philippines, particularly because those people that want to destroy Trump are moving towards making war with China, North Korea, and with Iran. No? Pag nagkaroon po ng gera dito laban sa China at China, tayo po ang magiging parang battleground. Ang unang battleground po ang Pilipinas. At yan pong mga napalagay namin, itong mga Democrats na kanilang pinaplano. Maski na nagagalit si Trump sa China dahil sabi na ang kanyang research, yung Wuhan, yung COVID virus, ay galing daw sa China. Pero alam niya din na maski na galing sa China, no, ang gumawa ng virus ay mga Amerikano na ginawa lang nila sa China. This is what's coming out. But never mind. First, let us talk about there was an election in November 3. Tapos ng November 3, nagbilangan. Ngayon, nagkaroon ng sitwasyon na dito sa bilangan na magulo.
May
Dahil
brownout daw. Ay, hindi pala.
namatay ang ilaw.
7 hours brownout, di ba?
Tapos, pagkatapos, wala na yung lamang ni...
Biglang lamang na si
Trump.
Biden.
Biglang lamang na si Biden. Pagkatapos nung inusisa pa nila, nakikita nila, tapos na yung November 3, no? Meron pa rin bumoboto.
May lumalapit pa. May dumadating pang boto.
Oo, tapos ang boto ng mga dumadating pa, November 4 na, November 5.
Ay, nagkamali sila.
Hindi yung binoto ng November 2, tapos nahuli lang sa koreo. Hindi. May binoboto nila November 4, November 5, November 6. No? At nagkakandagulo at railroad ngayon ng mga iba-ibang mga estado pati na yung paggamit.
That's among other incidents.
Marami pang incident. Ang pinakamalaki po, itong paggamit ng Smartmatic at Dominion. Ito pong kaibigan ng Pilipinas.
Where's Andy?
Si Andy Bautista. Tapos, ang kagaguhan talaga natin, biro mo, ang Amerika, sinasabi na Dominion tsaka Smartmatic ang may kasalanan ng mga lokohan. At tayo dito, yung mga nakaraan eleksyon, sinabi natin Smartmatic. Tapos pagdating ng COMELEC, papanalunin ulit ang Smartmatic. Parehong mga mandaraya.
Grabe. Grabe talaga.
Ano ba, tanga tayo? Talagang binabastos na ang mamamayang Pilipino. Never mind. So, ito muna yung sa Amerika.
Hey, sorry, I have an update.
Oh.
According to the Pentagon, hindi daw i-require, hindi daw mandatory sa military forces ang vaccine.
Pentagon. Sa Amerika.
Yeah.
Ha? Dito
Hindi
din sana hindi mandatory.
Hindi daw mandatory. So you
Yeah.
can take it if you want, but
It's by choice.
it's by
after.
choice. It
Right.
should be by choice all the time.
All the time by choice. Yan nga, Mr. President, paki-check lang itong mga bagong utos natin. Huwag natin naman gawing binipig sa mga sundalo natin. No? Mga ano din yan, mga mamayan. At kinakailangan po natin ng mga sundalo natin. Very healthy and without ano. I don't know if people near you will advise you. No? If anyone advise you to make it mandatory, I think you should fire them.
The other thing, Mr. President, if you're listening to us and those who are listening, please. The American Medical Association already said they are rescinding their earlier advisory not to use HCQ and AZ as early treatment option. Please allow this because it's very cheap and it's available to everybody, even to our poorest of the poor. Okay? So if you allow this to be used and promoted, you will not need to spend too much for a vaccine.
Tingnan mo si Trump, 6 months ago pa, binawasan na niya yung gasto sa gamot. No? Magbigay ng executive order, binabaan na, I think, by 40 to 50% ang halaga ng gamot sa Amerika. No? Across the board.
Yep.
No? Dito tayo, wala pa tayong ganyan, Mr. President. No? At marami pang wala pa rin tayo. Pero anyway, balik tayo dito sa eleksyon. No? Maraming nagsasabi na tapos na daw ang eleksyon dahil yung electoral college ng every state ay binoto na si Biden.
Yan ang sabi ni CNN.
Yan ang sabi ng CNN at sabi din ng mga Democrats. Hindi pa po tapos. Ang proseso po niyan, pagkatapos dito sa mga estado, yung mga states, dadali po yan sa Congress, Congress nila. At i-anunsyo kung ano yung hatol ng mga electoral college. No? Dito sa Congress, normally, ina-approve na. No? Pero, meron po sila sa kanilang saligang batas na kung may isa na tumutol dito sa paggawa nitong mga electoral votes na ito, ay kinakailangan, according to their constitution, magbilangan. Kinakailangan, maski na isa lang po ang tumutol. Now, ilan ba yung nandyan? 50 po. Kasi, one state, one vote. Kasi 50 states yan. No? Now, one state is one vote. Now, so it is not counting the number of congressmen and so on and so forth kasi mas malaki talaga yung Congress. Pero every state, kung yung state na yun ay Democrat, yun ang kanila. No? Democrat state yun. Tapos yung isa Republican state, ganyan. So one state, one vote. 50 lang po yan. 50 states ang magboboto. Ngayon, pag linabas po nila yung electoral college at sinubmit dito kay Pence kasi siya ang magiging presiding officer, kay Vice President Pence. She will be the presiding officer of this Congress. When it is submitted to him, all it takes is one representative of any state to say, we object because there is cheating and there is so and so and so and so. Wala na pong debatihan yan. Just because of that objection, kinakailangan i-divide po magde-decide po yung buong Congress. And they have to vote in accordance with their party, not in accordance with their belief. In other words, kung Democrat ka, pero naniniwala kang may dayaan, you cannot vote for the Republicans. And vice versa. If you're a Republican, no, and you know that and you believe there is no cheating, no, and you vote for the Democrats, you cannot do that. You have to vote according to your party. Now, yung 50 states na yon, 50 po yan. Ang bilangan ngayon, there are 30 Republicans and 20 Democrats. So, ang palagay nila, hindi lang isa ang mag-o-object dyan. Marami pong mag-o-object. So, ang mangyayari po, magbibilangan sila ngayon sa Kongreso. Ang majority as of now is the Republicans, no? By a very clear majority with 30 to 20. And that will mean the proclamation of the President. The President is a Republican. So, there is a 99.9% chance, pag umabot doon, that Trump will be proclaimed as having been re-elected. Now, ang delikado po dyan, kasi ang patakaran ni Trump ay aayusin talaga at ikukulong talaga yung mga tiwali na nangyari noon. Mga tiwali po sa Amerika ay napakarami. No? At hindi lang po mga maliliit, malalaking tao din po. At mayayaman. No? At gagamitin po ni Trump ang kanyang posisyon para itulak ang pagpapalit sa itong mga ito at pag ibubunyag niya kung ano-ano mga kasalanan nito sa bansang Amerika. No? When he does that, this is what he calls draining the swamp. No? Pag tinutuyo mo, pinapatuyo mo yung isang pond. No? So lilitaw lahat ng mga parang puhuliin mo. No? Yun ang mangyayari po sa amin. Dahil dito, marami po dyan ayaw makulong kasi po ang kanilang mga kasalanan, treason. Ang treason po dyan, life imprisonment or execution. Or execution. No? Karamihan po dyan, these people can be charged with treason. And so, they are fighting for their lives. Because of this, it is expected that if Trump actually wins, these people will use all of their resources to prevent Trump from sitting as the president. And they will use all means. They will try to kill him. They will create an incident that will force Trump not to be able to implement his plan. No? They might even create an incident which is, let's say, 10 times worse than the 9/11. Pwede silang magpaputok ng malaking bomba dyan sa Amerika para magulo. Pagkatapos gagawin nilang false flag. Alam niyo po ba kung ano yun? Sasabihin nila kasalanan ng Egypt, kasalanan ng Iran, o kasalanan ng North Korea. Tapos, alam niyo po yung nangyari sa, di ba, sa 9/11? Pinasabog yung World Trade Center. Tapos ang sabi nila, kasalanan ng mga nasa Iraq tsaka Afghanistan ni Osama Bin Laden. Tapos hindi nagtagal, gera na agad. Nag-invade na sila doon, tapos pinanap na sila Osama Bin Laden tsaka si Saddam Hussein at pinatay. Pwede pong gawin yon. At maski na may duda si Trump, baka Pati na yung buong mamamayan ng Amerika, itulak siyang manggera. That can happen, no? Because you see, the power of media, whether they're just mainstream or ano, pag gusto nilang itulak yung panggegera, no? Gagalitin nila yung tao. Ngayon pa lang, nakikita na po natin, nakatutok na sila sa China. Para bagang ang lahat ng China ay masasamang tao. Alam niyo po, you have to look at it in the right perspective. When somebody does something wrong in the U.S. and tries to kill a leader in another country, you cannot immediately say that it is upon the order of the leadership. You cannot, because there are different factions in the United States that will act independent of the president. Ngayon lang, alam natin yung CIA tsaka yung FBI kalaban si Trump. Kung yung CIA pupunta dito sa Amerika, sa Pilipinas, at patayin si Duterte, hindi po natin masasabing dahil kay Trump, because they could have done this not with his knowledge. Maybe somebody else. That's why we have to be very careful. Sabihin natin, if somebody in China is doing business with Biden, it does not mean the whole China is doing that. It can mean some people in the Communist Party that are doing this. And they're doing this really to go after Trump and to make a condition of war between the two countries. Ang masamang tao po, hindi lang nasa Amerika, hindi lang nasa Europa, nandun din sa China, at nandun din sa Russia. Every country has its share of evil people. And they will do things to manipulate so that the countries will go to war and people will die. Evil has no limits. It does not have any color. Evil is evil. No? Kanya we have to be very careful kung sino yung kalaban. Ang Pilipinas po, pag mayroong mga kagaguhan nangyayari dito, hindi po natin dapat ibintangan agad si Duterte. Kailangan sigurado tayo na si Duterte nga. But do not jump into conclusion just because a cabinet member said this, just because a congressman said that, or somebody from the same party as the president said this or did that. Does not necessarily mean that is with the approval and knowledge of the president. In the same way, in the United States and all of these other countries. Now, going back to that discussion of whether this will happen, this is just conjecture. Hindi po natin sinasabing eksakto ganitong mangyayari. Ito lang ang napupulot natin at nakikita natin sa mga nagbibigay ng mga iba-ibang analysis at pahayag. At itong mga nagbibigay na ito ay dalubhasa. They have the they have the
expertise.
Yes, they have the authority and knowledge to be able to say these things. Ngayon po meron tayong papakita sa inyo.
Yes, may video tayo about the pangalawa, pinadala ko. Hindi, yung pangatlo, sorry. Yung mahaba. About the summary of the election protest. Texas Rangers. Wait. Pasensya na, we will check muna. Hindi ko na alam kung ano yung Ano yung dapat
Anyway,
ipapakita ngayon?
ganyan po, we're arranging lang the videos.
Yes, Texas Ranger.
No, kasi itong mga kasama natin dito, mga ito,
Okay.
Okay, volume.
until 11 days after Nixon's electors were certified. President Donald Trump and allied third parties are pursuing legal challenges to the election in all of the states involved, including a lawsuit filed in New Mexico on the same day as the Electoral College vote. President Trump's senior advisor, Stephen Miller, said on December 14th, "We have more than enough time to right the wrong of this election result." In an interview on December 14th, Republican Representative Mo Brooks said that President Trump had in fact won the U.S. election. He vowed to challenge the Electoral College certification in the full House and Senate on January 6th. Brooks called on at least one senator to join him to fight with him in order to uphold the integrity of the U.S. electoral system. This is an unexpected reversal, and it is very favorable to President Trump. Next up, the Dominion error rate is shocking. 85,000 times higher than the standard. And also, crucial logs are missing. How much more evidence could they leave behind or try to hide? On December 14th, the Allied Security Operations Group released a forensic report that in Antrim County, Michigan, Hello, all you freedom-loving people. Welcome to another episode of Front Page. I'm your host, Scott Cameron Goulet. Okay, let's get into it. In a rare turn of events, two separate slates of electors from the Electoral College were cast in 7 states, each casting votes for their own candidate, leaving 84 votes pending for congressional decision on January 6th. But the left media still reported that Biden won the election, another rare oddity in the 2020 election. On the same day, December 14th, President Trump announced that Attorney General William Barr would leave office the day before Christmas Eve on December 23rd. No sooner had Barr resigned than the Department of Justice started to take action. First up, 7 states and 2 slates of electoral votes that Congress will have to decide. So, on the evening of December 14th, Biden claimed to have earned 306 electoral votes and gave a so-called victory speech. But it was a bit embarrassing that only 4,000 people seemed to watch Biden's speech live despite the early announcement. Also, the December 14th Electoral College vote was unprecedented. In Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, and even New Mexico, Republicans and Democrats each elected their own electoral college because of the controversy over the election results. New Mexico was a surprise because it was expected that there would be only 6 swing states. It was not expected that New Mexico Republicans would also vote for President Trump and Vice President Pence. The result was a historic scene, with one slate of electors supporting Biden and the other slate of electors supporting President Trump. The electoral votes of all 50 states and the District of Columbia will be opened at a joint meeting of Congress on January 6th, where they will be officially certified. The Republicans in Arizona contend their electors should be counted as true, according to Ward, and the state's 11 votes counted for Trump. While there's precedent for dueling sets of electors casting votes in a presidential election, the number of states involved in the action sent the 2020 election into uncharted territory. Democrats successfully executed the same gambit in Hawaii in 1960 by casting an alternative set of votes for John F. Kennedy after the state's governor certified the electors for Richard Nixon. Congress ultimately counted the Kennedy electors, even though he wasn't declared the winner in the election until 11 days after Nixon's electors were certified. President Donald Trump and allied third parties are pursuing legal challenges to the election in all of the states involved, including a lawsuit filed in New Mexico on the same day as the Electoral College vote. President Trump's senior advisor, Stephen Miller, said on December 14th, "We have more than enough time to right the wrong of this election result." In an interview on December 14th, Republican Representative Mo Brooks said that President Trump had in fact won the U.S. election. He vowed to challenge the Electoral College certification in the full House and Senate on January 6th. Brooks called on at least one senator to join him to fight with him in order to uphold the integrity of the U.S. electoral system. This is an unexpected reversal, and it is very favorable to President Trump. Next up, the Dominion error rate is shocking. 85,000 times higher than the standard. And also, crucial logs are missing. How much more evidence could they leave behind or try to hide? On December 14th, the Allied Security Operations Group released a forensic report that in Antrim County, Michigan, the Dominion voting machines are intentionally and purposefully designed with inherent errors to create systemic and influence election results. Although it has been known that Dominion has problems, when the report was released, it shocked many. the error rate was 85,000 times higher than the Federal Election Commission allows. Moreover, this year's election records were manually erased. Attorney Matthew DePerno wrote in his investigation report, the allowable election error rate established by the Federal Election Commission guidelines is 1 in every 250,000 ballots, or 0.0008%. We observed an error rate of 68.05%, which is 85,000 times higher. This demonstrates that Dominion has a significant and fatal error in security and election integrity. Last month, Antrim County experienced an incorrect early tally in favor of Biden by 2,000 votes, but a recount found that 6,000 votes cast for President Trump were mistakenly counted to Biden. With the flip, President Trump ended up with a 4,000 vote lead on Biden. The county clerk called it a human error. Many of you may remember that one, just one among many, many errors or irregularities. It's like children who cheat when you play cards or board games with them, but this ain't no game, folks. President Trump keeps giving people chances to choose sides, and many are still choosing the wrong side. More importantly, Dominion's logs were missing. The report says, significantly, the computer system shows vote adjudication logs for prior years, but all adjudication log entries for the 2020 election cycle are missing. How convenient. The report states removal of these files violates state law and prevents a meaningful audit. Even if the Secretary wanted to conduct an audit, we must conclude that the 2020 election cycle records have been manually removed. President Trump tweeted on December 15th, Dominion voting machines are a disaster all over the country. Changed the results of a landslide election. Can't let this happen. This report shows massive election-changing result. Okay, so many of you may be wondering what you can do to help spread the word about this great awakening. One small thing that you can do to help thousands of more people like yourself see this program and help them with their own great awakening is hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, and please leave a nice comment and share this program with at least one of your friends, because everyone deserves to know the truth. And again, we thank you all for your support here at Front Page. Now, next up is the Dominion CEO will attend Michigan hearing. Now, still regarding Michigan, no response doesn't mean it's over. Michigan Republican Representative Dare Rendon told Just the News that she received 1,300 emails, and they were all complaints about what are you doing about the election. Dominion has been involved in national security issues and a coup against President Trump. These are questions that Dominion CEO John Poulos had to take from lawmakers at a hearing of the Michigan Senate Oversight Committee in the afternoon of December 15th. There should be more on this in the near future. This is the first time since Election Day that Poulos had attended a House hearing to answer questions from legislators. Michigan House Speaker Lee Chatfield, a Republican, said, "It's about time. We need to get to the bottom of these accusations and hear from them. It's about time to bring Dominion to light. We also want to know, does Dominion have problems only in Michigan? Shouldn't all places that use Dominion be audited? Is Dominion controlled by foreign countries?" Again, is Dominion controlled by foreign countries? Great question. I can't wait for the Radcliffe report. So next up is 3 departments rated the solar winds. You know, the shadow of the CCP that is inside solar winds is dark and deep. On December 14th, a guest on the Hannity radio talk show broke the news that FBI, Texas Rangers, and U.S. Marshals jointly raided the headquarters of Solar Winds in Austin, Texas. This is very big news because Dominion is using SolarWinds products. And SolarWinds is very, very important to U.S. national security. We'll talk more about this later. Let's first talk about United States Marshals Service, USMS. It is a federal law enforcement agency in the United States. The USMS is a bureau within the U.S. Department of Justice, operating under the direction of the Attorney General, but serves as the enforcement arm of the United States federal courts to ensure the effective operation of the judiciary and the integrity of the Constitution. The Marshals Service is primarily responsible for the protection of judges and other judicial personnel, the administration of fugitive operations, the management of criminal assets, the operation of the United States Federal Witness Protection Program, and the justice, prisoner, and alien transportation system, the execution of federal warrants, and the protection of senior government officials through the Office of Protective Operations. The Marshals Service has generally been involved in very little law enforcement, but now it is involved in law enforcement, and a very important case. A few more words about the Texas Ranger Division. The Texas Rangers function as a paramilitary unit. As the times have evolved, the Texas Rangers are responsible for investigating cases ranging from murder to political corruption, as well as tracking down fugitives. In addition, it has a riot police function and is responsible for protecting the Texas state government. Isn't it interesting? No sooner had Barr announced his resignation on December 14th than the Justice Department made its move. How do you interpret that? These two departments are now working together with the FBI to enforce the law, which makes this case very important. It would also help you understand why SolarWinds said on December 13th that they had been attacked by an outside nation state. On December 13th, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, at the Department of Homeland Security issued an emergency directive that SolarWinds Orion products are currently being exploited by malicious actors. This tactic permits an attacker to gain access to network traffic management systems, and disconnecting effective devices is the only known mitigation measure currently available. This is a very rare action, as this hacking attack is probably one of the most serious spying activities on record against the United States. Because SolarWinds customers include more than 425 Fortune 500 companies, the top 10 U.S. telecommunications companies, all 5 branches of the U.S. military, the Pentagon, State Department, NASA, NSA, Postal Service, NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Department of Justice, and the Office of the President of the United States. That is to say, SolarWinds is very, very important to U.S. national security. In a statement, SolarWinds CEO Kevin Thompson noted there was a possible vulnerability that is related to updates from earlier this year to its Orion software. Thompson said, "We believe that this vulnerability is the result of a highly sophisticated, targeted, and manual supply chain attack by a nation state," he told the Associated Press in a statement. SolarWinds' press release on February 5th, 2016 shows that SolarWinds has completed its acquisition by affiliates of Silver Lake Partners and Thoma Bravo LLC. After the acquisition, Silver Lake, a global technology investment firm, became a major shareholder of SolarWinds. While Silver Lake has a close relationship with Jack Ma's Alibaba and Ants Financial Services, Silver Lake was a partner in both of SolarWinds' investments in China. And Silver Lake founding principal and co-CEO Egon Durbin also serves on the board of directors of Twitter. So now you should understand why Twitter has been deleting and blocking posts like crazy in this election. I'd like to mention a tweet that was not blocked by Twitter. It was posted by Blue Sky Report on December 11th. It says, "The Trump administration is in the process of destroying the CCP, and no matter how hard the CCP resists, it will not help. All overseas assets of the CCP will be completely confiscated. For those who may be nervous, remember the U.S. military cannot be beat. This is a military operation." Now, let's go back to SolarWinds, the China company that made parts for Dominion, and that was raided by Texas Rangers and U.S. Marshals. It has also been discovered that Glenn Hutchins, co-chairman of the Brookings Institution, is a co-founder of Silver Lake. The nephew of none other than Xi Jinping, the dictator in China, and he is the son of Xi Jinping. And Xi Mengjiang was an intern at the Brookings Institution. If it is confirmed that Dominion is interfered with by foreign forces, let's not forget that it could trigger the executive order signed by President Trump in September of 2018. So their assets can be seized. So next we need to ask whether President Trump will exercise his presidential prerogative right and drain the swamp completely. Okay, this is our show for today. Thank you for tuning in. If you like what you heard, please don't forget to like and subscribe this video and also share it with at least one of your friends, because everyone deserves to know the truth. Thank you all you freedom-loving people, for watching Front Page, and we will see you next time.
Okay, that's a new channel we discovered kasi marami pong ibang channel sa Facebook. Medyo mahaba po pero parang sinamarize po niya yung nangyayari. I hope you got all of that, and if you didn't get it po, now you can watch the replay and then watch it at your leisure. But I think it's, what's it called? Bear, yung channel. Scott, parang full disclosure.
Goulet.
Yeah, Goulet, full disclosure or something. So,
But kung kasi marami po siyang sinasabi,
Yeah.
napaka-comprehensive po, no? At inuna niya muna yung sa electoral, at sinabi niya kung paano mangyayari sa January 6. No? Ayan po, Front Page with Scott Goulet.
sa YouTube po.
Hanapin niya sa YouTube, Front Page with Scott Goulet. No?
Yeah.
Ngayon, ang sinasabi niya muna, ito muna. Pagkatapos niya sinabi yung mangyayari sa January 6, yung bobotohan, yung kaninang pinapaliwanag ko between Democrats and Republicans. At nagbigay pa nga siya ng halimbawa tungkol nung panahon ni President Kennedy at President Nixon tungkol sa Hawaii. Yung kanilang pinagawayan, yung mga electoral votes sa Hawaii, at pumasok dito sa Congress, at yung Congress binigay kay Kennedy yung yung pagpapanalo. Lang, etong ngayon, hindi lang Hawaii. Ang pinag-uusapan po nila, bali anim na states, no? But in effect, the whole country, no? Ito, UK, pero yun ang ehemplo. Pero ang sinasabi niya, lamang yung Republicans dito. So, katapos na yun, hindi na siya nagtuloy ng conclusions, no? Pero dahil hindi pa po tapos, no? Tapos pinasok niya, ito naman Dominion, Smartmatic Dominion. Na medyo masalimuot, pero bantayan niyo po yung mga sinasabi niya tsaka yung mga connection. No? Ay, nako, grabe, ang lalim. No? Ang lalim talaga. At ito pong solar winds na ito, na ginagamit daw ng Dominion, no? Ay may mga connection, yung mga board of directors nila, yung mga ganyan, may mga connection sa China.
Yes.
Tapos yung daw, ewan ko kung nasabi na dito, yung mga machines ng Dominion,
yes.
gawa din sa China.
Yes,
No?
they said.
Kasi po, lahat nagagawa na ng China. So, gagawa ka ng paraan, di ba?
Yeah.
Pero yung software, yun ang hindi natin alam. Kasi hardware itong pinag-uusapan.
Yeah.
Yung software, yung programa mismo, hindi natin na ililink yun sa China. Pero yung negosyo, pagbili ng mga machines, yung mga ganyan, sangkot po yung Dominion tsaka yung SolarWinds. At banda sa huli, sinabi niya pa nga, yung, ewan ko kung part owner, yung gumagawa ng machines sa China,
Right.
ay ang may-ari, part owner nun, ang pamangkin ni President Xi Jinping. No? Ang pangalan Xi something, Xi Weng something. No? Pero yung Xi, X-I, yun yung family name kasi nila, yun ang nauuna. No? So yung pamangkin ni Xi Jinping, yun ang may part owner ng gumawa ng mga machines. Yung po ang pagkaintindi ko.
Yeah.
Pero tingnan nyo po ulit, it is worth looking at the archives and repeating this thing.
Yeah, I wanted to add yung SolarWinds. Kaya ako importante yung SolarWinds. Sabi po ni, what's it? John Goulet?
Goulet.
Okay,
Scott
anyway,
Goulet.
Scott Goulet. Sabi po sa report ganito, ibig sabihin, marami pong investigation sa fraud. Okay. But December 13 po, nag-report po itong SolarWinds. Sabi nila, inaatake daw sila ngayon, cyber attack, yung network. Kasi yung business po ng SolarWinds, network infrastructure. Okay? So,
Ano sa computer ba yun?
sa computer yon, network infrastructure. Parang when you're
Para
setting...
silang provider, ganun.
No, not the provider. They are the ones who build your network within your company.
Okay.
So infrastructure and so yung data that has to be transferred, sila yung gumagawa. No, now they have done work for 455 out of the Fortune 500 companies sa US. They have done work for the US military. They do network infrastructure for US military, DOJ, Pentagon, lahat. So masalimuot po yung tsaka
Comprehensive ang kanilang kliyente.
oo, malawak. So kailangan po dun sa network infrastructure, hardware and software is network security. Di ba? Pag natin ngayon. Kasi online lahat eh.
Kailangan confidential yun eh. Di ba?
Oo, hindi pwede
Hindi
Ngayon,
pwedeng ma-share sa ibang tao.
nag-report po sila, lumabas, na inaatake daw sila ng hackers from another nation. Yun ang report nila.
So they discovered that somebody from another country
They
was...
claim, yes, parang they were trying to stop it. And they have to tell the US government kasi kliyente nila yun. So they have to tell, inaatake kami. So anong klaseng attack? Hindi po natin alam. Hindi po tayo hacker or software engineer. Pero inaatake na sa cyber attack. So nag-alarm sila. So then the next day, remember po, nag-mention rin si Scott Goulet na ni-raid po yung offices ng SolarWinds the next day. Okay, ng Texas Marshals, Texas Rangers, and all of these other FBI.
Pagkatapos na ng report na inaatake
Kasi
sila.
kailangan may alarm, may parang warning, ina-attack kami ha. So, the only way to defend daw is to disconnect. Kasi pasok yan, network infrastructure. Hindi pa natin alam kung gaano kalawak. Now, bakit SolarWinds importante? Aside from the fact that it reported na inaatake sila, hindi nila sinabing inaatake sila sa US. Sinasabi nila inaatake sila ng foreign nation.
Ng hacker from another nation.
From another nation. Yan ang statement nila. Hindi within the US.
Right.
So that's alarming kasi sekreto yan ng US. Parang napapanood natin sa mga movies. Ginagawa daw. So he had to set an alarm, ni-raid the next day. Sino ba tong SolarWinds? SolarWinds is used by Dominion. And there's a connection with Dominion, and that means Smartmatic. So Dominion, also, there is a connection nga, sabi ni Chairman, to investors from around the world, including China, and including related to the Chinese Communist Party. Communist Party. Palawak po
Yung
itong
CPP, Communist...
China Communist Party. Communist Party of China. So, Chinese Communist Party. So, yun yung leadership po ng China. Lahat po ng companies kasi na nag-invest ang China sa US is really under the Communist Party of China. Kasi po, yung setup nila.
State-owned yan eh.
State-owned. So they invest in many companies. So parang dito, di ba? Ang dami ng propetesa nag-invest si China dito. So partly doon, medyo maano yung data eh. Saka medyo maano yung mga computer eh. Hindi to physical eh. Ano to eh?
Software eh.
Software eh. May papasukan lang yan, tapos kukuha ng information, di mo alam eh. Parang yung bangko, di ba? Nawawala yung ATM nyo.
Yung mga hacker, kaya yan, di ba?
So this is what's happening. So may konting, talaga may nangyayari behind the scenes. And what...
At ang, di ba, ito, sinasabi din ni Scott Goulet, na ang si Presidente Trump, alam na ito.
Yes,
no?
yes.
At maraming alam niyo po yung sinasabing executive order
2018.
2018 nung ginawa niya ng 2018. Ito yung parang executive order na pinagbabawalan niya ang mga ibang bansa ang foreign intervention dito sa mga pamamalakad ng ating ng system ng election ng Amerika.
Siyempre.
Tapos meron pong doon, parang mga steps to be taken doon sa executive order na yon.
Right.
Ang steps to be taken doon, confiscation. Confiscation of all the corporations.
The assets owned.
And assets owned by that country, no, or that government institution in the United States. Kaya nakita po natin dito, nakalagay doon CCP, confiscation of all assets of CCP.
Within the United
Kaya
States.
tinatanong ko, ano ba yung CCP? Communist Party of
China. Yes,
no? China Communist Party, kaya ba yun? Anyway, kasi ang kanilang natututukan ang mga koneksyon, no? Yung connection ng Dominion, connection nila sa SolarWinds, tapos connection ng SolarWinds sa China na may kinalaman yung korporasyon doon sa China. Ang may-ari, pamangkin daw ni Xi Jinping.
Yun yung isang layer. Pero this company, because it's owned by this investment firm also called Silver Lake Partners,
Okay.
marami pong investor din dyan. From not just China, syempre yun yung unang papunta kasi nag-i-investigate ka. Sino ba may-ari nito? Sino ba may
Baka andun din sila George Soros.
Dominion Smartmatic.
Dominion Smartmatic is part owner pala nun.
Uses SolarWinds.
Okay.
So there is a big thing na you have to, kumbaga, draining the swamp. Nakikita niyo yung sino mga ano. I just want to read from the exact order. Remember, this executive order was issued by Donald Trump in 2018. 2018 pa.
2 years ago.
2 years ago and 2 years after nag-election, di ba? 2016. So it just reads, I'll just read the first statement para alam. I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, find that the ability of persons located in whole or in substantial part outside the United States to interfere or undermine public confidence in United States elections, including through unauthorized accessing of election and campaign infrastructure, or the covert distribution of propaganda, disinformation, constitutes an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the United States. Although there have been no evidence so far,
This was in 2018.
2018 pa, of a foreign power altering the outcome or vote tabulation in any United States election. Foreign powers have historically sought to exploit America's free and open political system. Okay? So,
Pati British yan, gumagawa
that's
yan.
exactly who has done that before. Who else have done that?
Ang British.
Okay? In recent years, the proliferation of digital devices and internet-based communications has created significant vulnerabilities and magnified the scope and intensity of the threat of foreign interference, as illustrated in the 2017 Intelligence Community Assessment. I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with this threat. So this was in, of course, it goes more, no? Pwede niyong basahin yan online. WhiteHouse.gov.
Anong executive order yan?
Executive order on imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference of the United States election. September 12, 2018. So parang alam na ni Trump na.
Kita nyo, ang foreign, wala po siyang sinasabing
Yes.
ano yan, pangalan ng kung sinong bansa. No? This was in 2018. But he was referring to historical efforts by other countries to intervene or to interfere in the U.S. electoral process. Dahil masyado daw free, masyado daw madali makapasok, no? Kaya kanina sinabi ko ang British, no? Because historically ang British talaga ang talagang pumapasok para manggulo dito sa election
since the founding of the Republic,
right.
of the United States
Since 1776.
Correct.
Nung na-found yung Republic, kasi alam nyo pa, pag Republika, may election.
Right.
No? Ang election po, may election. Ang mga monarchy tsaka walang election dahil hereditary yung namumuno
Or they claim hereditary.
Okay? Pero dito, nung itinayo ang Republika, the first modern republic na itinayo ang Estados Unidos, ang choosing of leaders had to be by election.
Yes.
Now, since it is by election, madali pong ma-influence.
Bili ng election.
Oo, pera, ganyan.
Yeah.
At tinan niyo po yung atin, ang dali-daling influence dahil sa may pera.
Pero,
Di ba po?
yeah, significant nga ang sinabi niyo about the British.
And then, patuloy-tuloy. And every palaging sigurado they're trying.
Yes.
Ngayon, gusto ko lang let's devote a little time to this ethos.
Yeah.
Why China? No? Why is China? Walang mention of British dito. Walang mention of... Siyempre, alam natin, Dominion. Si Mark Malloch Brown is a British citizen and Dominion is a British company. No?
Privy Council, si Mark Malloch Brown.
Tsaka si George Soros is a
Yes.
British citizen also.
Yes.
No? Bakit hindi nasasabing British? At ang ating kaalaman, yung sinasabi mo, the formation even of the Chinese Communist Party had a lot of British influence in it, di ba?
Yes. That was my... kasi po, alam mo, pag kasama po si Chairman, wala kaming ibang dinidiscuss kundi history of the world and politics and how. So every time we discuss, before this, alam mo, madaldal kami for 2 hours, pero before this, madaldal din kami. So we talk about all of these things in history. We talk about the Venetians, we talk about... Because importante po yan in understanding the role of each in history. And what you find out is that the influence of Britain in the 17th century, 18th century, up until today is very big. Very pervasive. Even here, hindi lang obvious. Tayo kasi American. Pero hindi lang obvious. And the other thing I wanted to... So we were talking about it kanina. So sabi ko, in many cases, involved parati yung British, lalo na yung British royal family and their agents in the many historical happenings around the world. You know, pag may event, sigurado may ano dyan, may pakanayan, may nagpapakanayan ng British na for their interests.
Just because it is communist does not necessarily mean that they are not involved. Tingnan nyo po
Bakit si Karl Marx, who did he work for?
si Karl Marx, actually, Karl Marx was a columnist for New York Times.
Yes.
New York Times, New York Post, but one of them.
Yeah.
And he was also British, si Karl Marx.
Yeah.
And he was studied in London.
And worked for the East India Company.
Worked for the East India Company, which is a British multinational.
Yes.
Nakikita niyo po malalim ang mga ang ano ng mga British. Tapos tandaan niyo po nagkaroon ng Opium War, no? Ang China tsaka yung British,
Yes.
no? At dahil pinapasok ng British yung China ng opium.
Yeah.
Tapos nakita ng emperor ng China, masama pala to sa kanyang mga tao dahil na droga, pinigil niya. Dahil pinigil niya, nagalit ang British. Sabi, dapat free market, no? Dapat huwag niyong pipigilin itong gusto ng tao. Ganyan.
Yeah.
Ngayon, nagkaroon ng gera, natalo yung China. Dahil natalo yung China, they had to
Give up land.
give up Hong Kong, no,
Territory.
and Macau,
Yes.
no, Macau to the Portuguese, Hong Kong to the British. No? But remember that didn't stop the British from influencing China,
Right.
and they could have very well been involved, no, in toppling the
Yes.
leadership of China
course.
para ipasok nila si Mao Zedong, thinking that of course sila magtutulong dito, so sila ang may influence, no? So and the setting up of the Communist Party, they were involved, no? Marami pong issues and documented on their presence.
Yes.
Presence in China at the time of the revolution of helping Mao Zedong take over
Yes.
from Chiang Kai-shek.
Yes.
Chiang Kai-shek ba? O,
Yes,
okay.
to take out the influence of Chiang Kai-shek, who was a republic, thinking like the U.S.
Chiang Kai-shek was
republic.
already thinking of a republic.
Yes.
Ayan na.
So, ganun ang labanan. So, it's plausible. Of course, we have to dig up more history, no? Pero I wanted to say, fast forward, after Trump did this, foreign interference, naglabas po, just to see, naglabas po ng statement yung Queen of England or yung kanyang mga advisors, which is the Privy Council, very close to them. Naglabas rin sabay si George Soros ng statement. Ano po yung statement nila? Ipapagsama ko na. And this is out in the open, sa YouTube, hanapin niyo po. Ang statement po nila, President Trump is a real danger to our way of life. And he needs to be removed.
This is after the executive order.
Yeah, along that, sa 2019, nag-statement sila. Tapos si George Soros, sabi niya, itong si Trump temporary lang yan, aalis rin yan after 2020.
Right.
Yan ang sabi.
Yeah.
Nasa hindi kami nag-iimbento ng statement.
Yeah.
And it is the British Privy Council, ito yung mga advisors around the British royal family and yung mga elite na
Right.
sinasabi nila, we need to get Trump out.
That's why we were discussing this. We believe that when Trump thought up of that executive order, he was not really thinking about China
Or Russia.
or Russia. Kasi at that time, wala pa yung COVID,
Wala.
no? Wala pa yun. Pero ang sinasabi niya, foreign intervention.
In election.
He was actually thinking of the British, no? Because yan ang traditional enemy ng ang Amerika is British. Baka kala nyo kasi porque English magkakaibigan. Hindi po. Nag-umpisa yung paglalaban nila noong 1776 nung itinatag ng Amerikano ang Republika after a revolution against the British.
Right.
And this republic and the principles of the republic ayaw ng British kasi yung prinsipyo ng Republika ay labag dito sa kanilang intensyon na mag-dominate ng mundo.
The New World Order.
Oo.
Yeah.
That is their intention. The so-called New World Order is the same world control that they were planning even as early as those times, 1776.
Yes.
And when the U.S. made the revolution, and every so often you will see that they were trying to destroy this. And at times they even had influence in killing the presidents of the United States. Lincoln, at sila McKinley, at even JFK, and to some extent, pati si Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Right.
So you can see that all of those times, why is it that kalaban nila? Kasi sila, yung imperial power ng Britain, yung Commonwealth na tinatawag, kalaban yan po ng sovereign nation state. Tayo ngayon, we are sovereign nation states. Ayaw nila yan. Kasi mas gusto nila yung Commonwealth where the sun does not set
on the British Empire.
On the British Empire. Hindi po maski saan yung pagbaba ng sun, nandun pa rin ang British Empire.
Kami may-ari niyan.
Sila may-ari na. That is their thinking.
Yes. And again, to expand it, any nation that wants to copy the United States and become a republic, pag nakita nyo, binasa nyo po yung history, any threat of establishing a republic in any continent, yung British po nangunguna na sinosuppress sila. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's their style because they are that's what they do.
What is their biggest weapon now? The banks. The banks and the Wall Street,
Yes.
They have so much money that they now control many of the politicians in the United States. They even now, to great extent, control agencies like the FBI and the CIA. Kanya po ganyan.
Yes.
Kanya po, pati na yung CIA, FBI, gustong patayin o sirain si Donald Trump.
The deep state is the British.
The deep state is really British-inspired,
Yes.
and British. The nucleus is British.
The masters. And if you were the British, siyempre gusto nyo yung attention ng mundo kalaban China, kalaban Russia. Hindi sa amin. Wala kami dyan. Yan ang style po nila.
Paglabanan kayo, tapos sila wala.
Pero sila yung mangi-intriga.
Di ba ganyan yung demonyo?
Yun.
Papagawa yan ng mga tao, pero sila hindi kasama, pero sila ng intriga.
Yeah.
Di ba?
That's something that historians, tayo, we always discuss it. And because we have all discussed about world history, anong nangyari sa Pilipinas, anong influensya, you make these connections.
Yeah.
So, yun. So, it's actually 9 o'clock already.
You connect the events and the ideas that were then present at that time, and you will see history becomes much more interesting than if you were to go to a classroom and you have a history teacher and he starts mentioning the names and the dates which you have to memorize. Nothing about the ideas, nothing about what was transpiring and what the process was. At that time.
And why do you think ba't tayo naiinis sa mga leader natin? Kasi wala silang talagang appreciation ng and these things.
They don't know.
They have no sense.
No sense. all our leaders, all our advisors from the leaders, wala po, no? Na nakakalungkot.
Lahat tayong talagang statesman. Lahat tayong leader. So,
Anyway, it's time for us to go. Thank you. But we will be reading the text messages sent to us by our listeners. And their opinion is not necessarily ours. No? But we will read them in the interest of freedom of speech.
Maria Luna Puyak Gore. Evening, hi, Maria Luna. John Peter watching Fairview QC. Rexander Tarok, good evening mga bossing. Donald Tumbaga, welcome back Katipunan sa pakinig ko, DZXL. Ayan. Oscar Capulong, very informative. Angelo Redaja, magandang gabi po, Sir Butch Valdez, Merry Christmas, Happy Sunday, always keep safe, God bless. RMN solid ang ating Katipunan, DZXL Radio Trabaho, 558 kHz, Mega Manila, Malolos, Bulacan. Ayan. Tonya Books Wandas, watching. Ellen Berdos, kamusta pa kayo dyan sa Pilipinas, watching here from Germany. Guten Tag, Rod White Pariabas, good evening po, Kabutch at Sir Itos, mabuhay pa kayo, watching from Subic. Gary Salcedo, I wonder if the Dems would claim that the Republicans are the ones trying to steal the election, given that the Electoral College has declared Biden as the elected president.
Yes, of course, that's what they're going to claim, and they're already claiming that, no, Gary. But the decision process has not yet been completed, so we have to wait for January 6, no, which is precisely the date that their constitution allows. Yung kanina sinasabi, Gary, na meron electoral college na present, pero sinabi din, meron din electoral electors ang sinabmit ng mga Republicans, no? So there were two groups now that have been submitted, no? And the ones that will be deciding this, no, will be the Congress. No?
Yes. So it's not true that the Electoral College has officially declared.
No.
But they're claiming it, as they always do.
Yeah.
Sunny KDP Parañaque. Sir Butch and Itos, good evening mo po, mga katipon. Mahalaga ang bawat sandali upang walang masawi sa atin, mga kababayan, dahil sa pandemic na COVID-19. Mahalaga ang bakuna upang labanan natin ang virus. Ba't hanggang ngayon wala pa tayong bakuna? Mas inuna pa ang mga opisyalis ng gobyerno na turukan to sino mga may kasalanan, mga pabaya, sinungaling at konsentidor ang gobyerno sa mga kaalyado. Kaya kahit may kasalanan, walang napaparusahan eh. Huwag natin baliwalain to. Kung ganito pa rin ang pamamalakad sa susunod, tiyak, ganito na lang tayo habang panahon.
That time check was brought to you by ACS Manufacturing Corporation, ISO certified world-class quality.
ACS.
That time check was brought to you by ACS Manufacturing Corporation, ISO certified world-class quality.
ACS.
That news was brought to you by ACS Manufacturing Corporation, ISO certified world-class quality.
ACS.
That time check was brought to you by Joy Antibac. Iwas germs, iwas sakit.
Ang daming natuwa sa laking tulong na naihatid ng DZXL 558 Radyo Trabaho para sa mga nasa online classes at sa mga naka-work from home sa libreng prepaid Wi-Fi.
Maraming salamat sa Radyo Trabaho sa DZXL na pinagis na aking free Wi-Fi na ito. Magkatputo na aking mga